Hello, Maja here
And Andrew.
from two Randos. We're currently in Madeira.
And there's a waterfall here in the background.
When we arrived in Madeira at the end of January, we were greeted with rain. Fortunately, we had rented a car, so the rain did not stop our exploration on day one. And after the rain, the sun always comes out and brings rainbows. Hello, it's Maja here, and it's the 25th of January 2025. We are in Madeira on the north side of the island in Porto Moniz, which is a place with natural pools, so you can swim here probably closer to the summer, probably from April onwards. You can swim in these man-made pools looking at the Atlantic Ocean. Madeira is very touristy, and you will notice that as soon as you arrive at the airport, which is very small, very short runway, but it has like constant planes coming in and out. So Porto Moniz, where we are today, is also one of the tourist spots. So you have buses of people coming in, taking photos and enjoying the site. If you want to get away, you just need to walk 10 to 15 minutes at a spot like this, which has no people, and it's stunning because you can see the terraces for farming and you can see the sea. Obviously today is a non-swimming day. We enjoyed a drive through Laurisilva Forest, a 20 million year old subtropical rainforest, which is a UNESCO heritage site and a must-see on Madeira. Europe was once covered in this forest, but it is now virtually extinct and has survived on Madeira, probably only because the island was populated only 600 years ago.
When the weather is like this, then you need a place like this.
Hello, it's Maja here. We're still in Madeira and we're based in an area called Camara de Lobos, which means a chamber of wolves. So we were speculating why the name. We thought maybe there were wolves on Madeira before the settlers came in. However, it has nothing to do with wolves at all. The first settlers who came landed here and they saw a big colony of sea lions, and they named them wolves of the sea. So this is where the name comes from. So behind me now you can see a lighthouse, a lot of tourist accommodation, a lot of lovely boats, which you'll see a little bit later in the video. Of course, when the settlers came, this was just the most accessible side of the island compared to the northern side. Camara de Lobos is on the south side of Madeira, and it's really pleasant to walk in, have a meal, chat with the locals. It's very touristy, but very, very pleasant. This artwork behind me is dedicated to the sea lions of Camara de Lobos. There was a huge colony of sea lions when the settlers arrived. However, due to fishing and the increase of the human population, the sea lions population really went down and they were on the verge of dying out. There are conservation programs, and these days the population of sea lions is going slightly up, but it's nowhere to the initial numbers that were here before the settlers came. Aside from the fisherman, a statue of Winston Churchill painting, in Camara de Lobos we saw a statue of Simon Bolivar, the hero of Latin American independence movement against the Spanish.
So Camara de Lobos, and I apologize for all my Portuguese mispronunciations, was discovered by a Portuguese explorer called Zarco in 1419, and it's the second largest town in Madeira based on population size.
And here it is, a statue of Zarco, supported by lions in the center of the old town of Funchal. We came to visit Funchal twice, once in the evening and then again during a beautiful sunny day
to see the Funchal Botanical Gardens. There are many reasons why you should visit Funchal. We recommend visiting Funchal for many reasons: the beautiful waterfront looking at the Atlantic Ocean, its parks with plants from all over the world, the cobbled streets, the fruit and handcraft markets, the wineries. One word of advice: if you are driving in Funchal, be prepared to drive uphill and downhill in second or even first gear, as this town is built on a hill and is full of impatient local drivers. Funchal hosts a museum and a statue of one of its most famous residents, Cristiano Ronaldo, who was born in Funchal to a poor Catholic family that already had 3 children. His mother was a chef at the time and was not too enthusiastic about welcoming a 4th child. In 2024, Ronaldo is the highest paid athlete in the world and supports many charities aimed at improving children's health, disaster relief, and education. He has also been an ambassador of Save the Children and UNICEF.
Today we're again in Funchal, but a totally different Funchal than the coastal one. So we're in a botanical garden which was founded in 1960 by a hotelier who actually used this land as his private garden. Today about 5 hectares of the garden, which starts at around 150 meters above sea level, are landscaped, and the other 3 hectares are wild. It's definitely worth coming here because the climate in Madeira is ideal for plants, as it's warm throughout the year. So we're here in January and it's 22 degrees and very sunny, and the summers are also very mild, and you can see that when you walk around the garden that the plants just love it. So you have subtropical plants, you have succulents, Mediterranean plants. It's just ideal climate for all sorts of plants. I developed appreciation for gardening during COVID. During the pandemic, there were 4 months when there were no flights from Macedonia to anywhere in the world. So I dedicated that time and the subsequent months, where one couldn't do very much, to gardening. I worked in my parents' garden, and I worked both on outdoors and indoor plants, which is when I developed an appreciation for succulents, for cactuses. So now when we travel, I drag Andrew to all sorts of botanical gardens, and we're still in the botanical garden of Funchal here in Madeira, where you can see a mixture. We are in the area where they have succulents and cactuses or cacti. I'm just fascinated by these plants because I come from a region where cactuses obviously don't grow. So I love seeing them. Some of these plants, I have them as very little plants, which are indoor plants in continental Europe or even in England. And here you can see them in full growth. They're hundreds of years old. So yes, I love it.
So this is Andrew from Two Randos, the fame to be, hopefully, in Funchal, in Madeira, in the gardens. I have to say I am not a fan of gardens. It's not one of these things that I've grown into as I've got older, like some people may happen to some people. I do, however, appreciate the effort that goes into making a garden like with the one behind me look the way it does, and the maintenance. But I think I really would much rather grow potatoes.
Hello, Maja here. We're in the botanical gardens in Funchal at around 300 meters above sea level. And as you can see, the infrastructure in Madeira today is very developed. This started particularly after Portugal, which Madeira belongs to, became a member of the European Union in 1986. So you would have a lot of tunnels like this, taking you from the southern to the northern, the northwestern, the northeastern part of Madeira. The infrastructure is very developed also because there's a lot of cruisers stopping here. So some of you may have been on a cruise which would have stopped in Funchal. So tourism is the main industry in Madeira. However, there is still a lot of poverty. There are people begging and so on. So I don't think that tourism brought equal benefits for the population. On my left hand side you can see a cable car going up. And you can take that cable car from the promenade in Funchal. It currently in 2025 costs about 20 euros to go up and down. And I would recommend that if you don't have much time to spend, because then you can see the beautiful scenery and you can see from quite high above.
So from October of last year, 2024, a lot of places in Europe have introduced a tourist tax. It was quite famous in places like Tenerife, where they took to the streets and protested. There's a huge irony in that, I guess, because they're making their money, like in Madeira, from tourists. I mean, there's huge cruise ships down there, but I understand, the infrastructure, the local infrastructure suffers because of it. So it's €2 a day currently, up to 7 days it's chargeable. My only question really is, where's the money from the tourism going? And where is this money, this €2 going to go to? It's supposed to go into improving infrastructure, potholes and that kind of stuff. But what happened to the money from the tourism? Because tourism is big here.
Maja here from Two Randos. So we're at one of the beauty spots in Madeira, a waterfall which is quite high, you can see. And to come here, we've taken a walk which is marked. So the infrastructure, like I mentioned in one of the previous videos, it's excellent. So you have a road via tunnels that takes you to a very remote area of the Laura Silva, the forest that takes about 20% of the island of Madeira. And you can go hiking, you can go rock climbing, up to your abilities really. You can arrive by car. There's parking areas where you can park safely. We rented out Honda Civic, so even that car made it up in the mountain, where we stopped at around 1,300 meters. You can also come with organized tours, with 4x4s. It's whatever you prefer. So we left the car at the designated parking area, and then we hiked for about 3 kilometers to this waterfall. The hike is really beautiful, going through a tunnel of trees, and the scenery is very beautiful and it's very atmospheric. So as you can see, we are in January, end of January here, and I'm in short sleeves, and it's very, very pleasant. It's around 18 degrees, just an ideal weather for hiking. So we would definitely recommend coming somewhere. There are longer hikes as well, which you can take like up to 6 or 8 hours. So it really depends how much you can do. And there are also hikes, like I said, this one is about 3 kilometers in one direction. So that's just over 2 miles, no, under 2 miles. So yes, there's everything for everybody, and the infrastructure is just excellent.
One of the two randos here, the other rando is just above me, doing another video which will probably be joined one side or another to this one where it's all put together. So this is the waterfall. This is a 1.6k walk, and it doesn't seem very much distance wise, but it's tough, up and down the stairs and up and down the stairs, but it's well worth it. You can see behind me sort of the waterfall. It's magnificent. One word of advice I would say, like when you go walking in England, parking's a little bit limited, and there's loads of tours that come here, jeep tours and minibuses as well as people walking. So parking can be a bit of a problem. So I would say, unlike us, get here a bit earlier to avoid that. Otherwise, enjoy the nature. This is currently one rando. He's really, really wet. He's just been underneath there, and yeah, it's wet and cold, but hopefully the video will be really, really cool. So this is what they call the view from the other side. I'm so wet.
The day before we left Madeira, we decided to go for a hike on a well-marked trail at São Lourenço, the most eastern side of the island. Fortunately, we have experience in hiking, and we went prepared. With proper hiking boots, we carried enough food and water. We paid €3 for entering the national park, and we were treated with stunning views for our efforts. Although it was a sunny day, it was very windy. So, aside from hiking boots, it was useful wearing layers of clothing and carrying our hats and gloves. At the end of the hike, while having a coffee in the cafe, we were offered a boat ride back at €25 per person, which we took and we thoroughly enjoyed it. The trail was very busy as there were many people on that day, so we decided to go back by a rigid inflatable boat. Aside from having views from the sea, we saw a seal and had a roller coaster experience riding the waves of the Atlantic Ocean.
In review of Madeira from my point of view, I would say it's a good place to visit. It's a very touristy place. It's quite warm in January, February, so a lot of people go there for winter sun. I didn't enjoy driving very much. I tried, but I didn't enjoy. My favourite part was definitely going on the rigid inflatable boat.
I would recommend that you visit Madeira if you haven't been there before. I would rate it 8 out of 10, taking a point off because of the impatient drivers and another point because it's very touristy. It is a beautiful destination all year round.